There we go. All right, everyone. Welcome to the post-offer reception for Victoria College at the University of Toronto. You guys would be the class of 2027. So we're so happy to have you here today. Today we'll be joined by our president, our principal, our dean, and our registrar to give you some remarks about Victoria College. You'll hear from some of our lovely staff in the breakout rooms, and you'll get to ask all of your questions in the chat as well as in the breakout rooms. Feel free to turn on your cameras there to have conversations. The recording will only happen during the main session where folks would be speaking, but during the breakout rooms, we will not be recording, so you can feel free to feel comfortable to kind of speak up and have a chat. Next slide. There we go. So today's speaker, we're going to have our president, Rhonda McEwen, our principal, Angela Esterhammer, our dean, Kelly Castle, the registrar, Reno Kanga Fonseca, and then two students are joining us. Michael, who's a fourth-year student. He is a domestic student. And then Ava, who's also a fourth-year student. She's an international student. So you'll get to hear a little bit of different perspectives and a lot of amazing folks speaking this morning. Next slide. There we go. Okay, so before we begin, I just wanted to share some of our Instagrams. Make sure to follow. They all post incredible content. Once you're a student here, Vic College Life and Vic.Register are going to be your main focuses of information. If you're thinking of Vic One, please follow the Vic One program. They're going to have incredible information about them. They're going to tell you so much more about that today. And then if you're interested in kind of connecting on the time that you are admitting to Vic and U of T, connect to Vic Admissions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. I'll keep track of them and I'll also answer any that's very specific to you. But if you have a great question, we're going to answer them at the end of the presentation as a group. And then if you just want to hold on to that question and ask them in your breakout room with your breakout room leaders, that's totally fine too. We're here to answer anything you're in need. And then for the breakout room session, once again, feel free to turn your camera on. I'm sure the staff here would love to see you and have connections. This is to build community and meet your peers, so take advantage of this chance before we dive deep into the summer sessions. All right, and we'll begin. So our first speaker this morning is our president, Rhonda McEwen. She's going to talk a little bit about welcoming you to Victoria College. Take it away, Rhonda.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you so much to each and every one of you who turned out today. What a great ring that is. You know, it's like Victoria College class of 2027. I love the sound of that. It makes my heart sing. I get the honor and the privilege to be your president. I'm a president that you will see on campus. I don't tend to hide away in my office, but I stroll around. You will see me if you're on residence and you eat at Burwash or at Ned's. If you're not in residence, you'll see me walking around. I often will be popping in to check out if you're in clubs or any of our levies. Amazing student activity at Victoria College. But I want to let you know that you've done an amazing thing already. You made the right choice to be at Victoria College. We are a very special community, and I've been at other places, and I'll tell you that it is a very special community. Today, before we get into all the details about why you made the right choice and all the amazing things you'll have the chance to do, I wanted to share with you something I read if I want to clear my mind on a morning. I read something. I had this great book given to me. It's by Richard Wagamesi, and he is an Ojibwe author. He's quite prolific and incredible. He wrote this book, Embers, and you know, he's one of the foremost First Nations authors and storytellers in Canada. So I wanted to share a very short one about courage, because I think being a first-year student coming out of a very difficult time globally does require some courage. On top of the excitement, I'm sure there are butterflies. So here's a little reading. It's very short. You can't test your courage timidly. You have to run through the fire, arms waving, legs pumping, and heart beating wildly with the effort of reclaiming something vital, lost, laid aside, or just plain forgotten. When you do that, you discover that we shine most brightly in community, the whole bedraggled, worn, frayed, tattered lot of us, bound together forever by a shared courage, a family forged in the heat of earnest struggle. That spoke to me today, as I knew I was going to talk to you, and I hope you take something from that. Welcome once again, class of 2027. It is my honor and privilege to be your president. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rhonda. So our next speaker is Principal Angela Esterhammer. She works a lot with our academic programs, including Vic 1, Vic 100s, and such incredible research opportunities here at Vic. She's going to let you know a little bit about those now. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you, and hello, everyone. Congratulations on being offered admission to one of the world's leading universities, and especially to Victoria College. I attended Vic myself as an undergraduate, so as an alumna and as principal, I'm delighted to be talking with you about our beautiful historic college. So as principal, my main area of responsibility is the academic side of Vic. So I'll outline briefly some of the exciting academic choices that await you, especially in your first year. Well, when you applied to the University of Toronto, I'm sure you noticed that it's a very big place. And although that size may seem a bit overwhelming at first, it's actually a really good thing for your education. It means that at the University of Toronto, you can choose from a range of courses and programs that you won't find anywhere else. U of T programs are excellent across the board, often among the very best in the world. And the combinations of programs you can choose to suit your personal interests and career goals is almost unlimited. You should remember that whether you're a student at Victoria College or any other college, all programs of study in the Faculty of Arts and Science are open to you. Your choice of college does not affect your choice of specialist, major, or minor programs. And normally you'll begin those programs in your second year. In first year, you have a chance to explore the breadth of your interests while integrating into university, and taking some of your first year courses at Victoria College is a great way to do both those things. Vic puts special emphasis on first year offerings because we really believe in the importance of strong first year foundations. We also believe in the value of small classes. All our first year courses are taught in classes of at most 25 students. In fact, we consider small conversation-based classes so important for making a good start at university that we guarantee every first year Vic student access to at least one small class. And we expect every first year Vic student to enroll in a small class where the professor knows you by name, you quickly get to feel comfortable with your peers, and you learn how to learn at university. A prime example is the award-winning Vic 1 program. Vic 1 is a foundational program in which you take at least 2 courses throughout your first year with a small cohort of fellow students. You'll study with outstanding professors, as well as with community leaders and professionals in a variety of fields. There are 8 streams of Vic 1 to choose from, each of them covering a broad area of study with a lot of interdisciplinary connections. So whether you're interested in sciences, humanities, social sciences, creative arts, education, or commerce, there is a Vic 1 stream for you. Vic 1 does require a separate application. I know many of you have applied, and maybe you've already received an offer of admission to Vic 1, and if so, congratulations again. But if this is the first time you've heard of Vic 1, don't worry. This year, the application deadline has been extended until April 30th. At today's session, feel free to ask questions about Vic 1 in the Q&A or the breakout sessions. And there will also be a special online information session about Vic 1 this Wednesday, April 26th at 4 p.m. to which you should have received an invitation already, but I think someone will also put the registration link into the chat now. Another great alternative for starting your first year at Victoria College is to choose a Vic 100 First Year Foundation Seminar. Vic 100s are one semester courses that feature a small class of 25 students at most. They offer engaged discussion, personal attention, caring professors, and helpful peer mentors. The options in the Vic 100 series range from courses on globalization to Indigenous film, to how to study everyday life, to how to be more creative, to the history of vegetarianism, and much more. And lastly, I want to let you know that Vic places a special focus on involving students in research opportunities. As professors, we know that one of the real joys of being at a university is the excitement of discovery and innovation. And we seek to share that excitement with students in many different ways. We have a dedicated undergraduate research coordinator, and that is a professor who will facilitate your connection to research opportunities, whether those are in the lab, in the archives, or as field work in the social sciences. At Vic, there are many opportunities to discover new knowledge alongside a faculty supervisor, or in one of Vic's research centers, or in a research team within our unique Scholars in Residence summer program, which is sort of like an intensive research camp in the humanities and social sciences. So those are some of the academic offerings, the highlights of academic offerings at Victoria College. Our emphasis on first year small classes in the Vic 1 program and in Vic 100 seminars, and our emphasis on research opportunities throughout your undergraduate career. So thank you for listening. We'll be happy to address your questions later in today's session or by email. And now back to Sarah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Angela. It's so great to hear about all the amazing academic things we are going through at Victoria College. So our next speaker is our Dean, Kelly Castle. She works a lot with our student life portion as well as our residence life portion of our campus, including the community orientation, all of our extracurriculars. So welcome, Kelly.
Hey. I want to look at some more faces. Hang on, where are some faces? Faces, Ria, Laura, Burst. Oh no, it's not Bursting. Your first name's covered up. Riley, hello, Ava. So very exciting. I love having students come who are new and all excited and ready. Okay, so I get to talk about a few little things. I'm going to try to be quick without speaking too quickly, which is not my forte. So first, I'm supposed to be discussing Vic community. I apologize to the people with whom I work, because they've heard me say this so many times, but I really think it resonates for our incoming class. When I started working here, and I came from another college that shall remain nameless, but that's not as good, I asked one of the student leaders to tell me a little bit about what Vic students are like. So why should I go to Vic? Tell me about Vic. I only really want to know about the students. That's the most important part to me. The rest I'm sure will come shortly after. And he said, well, they're smenly. And I said, well, that's not good. You don't even know language. This is the problem already, right out of the gates. And he said, no. We're smart, but we're friendly. And I really think maybe that's what some of what Rhonda was getting at when she got here too. Excuse me, please hold. Somebody sing for a second. This is very attractive. Better, much better, sorry. Some institutions you find are very ambitious students with lots of goals and lots of aspirations. And that's really the signature moment that you see when you walk into the college or the institution or the university. And some they're really, really friendly, but it doesn't seem like they're quite as ambitious and quite as driven as some of the other places you might go to. But at Vic, those two really come together in this smenliness, in this ambition, but supportive sort of spirit of the college. And I think that Other people have said it's kind of something in the water at Vic, and I think that's this manliness that's in the water. Everyone sort of drinks it, and you'll find that at all levels. You find it with people who are working in the garden. You'll find it with people who are in the library, in my office, in Angela's office, in Rhonda's office, in the registrar's office, everywhere. So that manliness, I think, is probably the definition of the Vic community. You'll find a whole bunch more detail, but I like this manliness. The second thing I'm supposed to talk about is support for students. The two things I think that stand out for me in terms of the support for students are that it's signature and that it's holistic. So the signature nature of it means that you can come in and really have something that's designed for you. When you speak to academic advisors in the registrar's office, the career advisor in my office, resident supports, everyone is trying to make it fit for you, not for the student, qua student, but for you, particularly you with your own history and your own goals and your own aspirations. So I would say that that's sort of the definition of the student support. Some of the breakdown of it is that you'll find student leaders themselves through the VUSAC office and through clubs and stuff who will clearly give you peer support and who are amazing. You'll also find student leaders who work through our respective offices. So mentors, transition mentors who are helping you into first year, into second year, and all the way through. International mentors, because we know that the transition for international students is a little different in kind. Commuter dons, because we know that coming back and forth from the campus means you have to work a little harder to find your people, as opposed to just waking up in residence and knowing who they are. So we have specific supports in place for commuters. And we also have residence dons, of course, so that if you're moving away from home for the first time, you yourself as a person are supported through your experience at residence. The next thing I'm supposed to talk about, doing an excellent job of following the rules, is orientation. We have 3 orientations. One of them is the general orientation for all first year students. I strongly recommend that you come to that and to any others you can attend, and I'll explain why in a second. Another one is international students, international orientation for international students. That precedes our regular orientation week and is really a time for people to get acclimatized, not to the institution, but to Toronto and to being in a new place at a new time. The institutional supports will come after that, but having, like, one of the favorite things everybody likes is going to IKEA. I'm not kidding. I think it's going to be because they hear words of wisdom from us and everything. And it's like, no, it's the ballroom and the little carpets. So do some of that stuff to get yourself settled, because none of us is okay getting settled with hard work and a new job and everything, unless we have our desk, unless we have our chair, unless we have our surroundings in place. So the orientation part is a really important part for you to get settled. I hate that my office lights go out every time I don't move enough. Please hold. Okay, here I go. I'm getting my legs up in.
I did say there was
Somebody
arm
needs to do
waving,
something
didn't
about
I,
that.
earlier?
Pardon me?
I said there was arm waving in my poem, so there, you just demonstrated it.
Oh yeah. I gotta move more, said nobody ever to Kelly. Sorry, where was it? And the only other thing is commute orientation really is another one of those elements where you need to find your way around the whole broader U of T campus and not just Vic. And we'll help you to do all of that stuff as well. And of course, meet each other so that you have some friends and some familiar faces once you've started here. Now, I just came back from a conference. Heidi Pepper-Coles, I see her on here. We came back from a great conference. Renu, our registrar, came with us too, which was one of the biggest conferences in North America for student affairs and student life professionals, which is what we are. And one of the things they found is that students are 8 times more likely to succeed academically and to have a good university experience if they make sure that they transition in well. So taking advantage of as much as you can, as early as you can, I strongly recommend it, not just because it's fun. And you can tell your parents this too. Sometimes parents say, finish your job, focus on your classes. Focusing on your classes requires that you be settled and well transitioned into university. So 8 times more likely from 3 different massive researchers in the States. We had a really good time at Harvard too, but that's another story. So I really strongly recommend that you do that. There are also all kinds of other things, and we'll tell you later about club days and stuff like that. My next thing is student life. You'll find that everywhere. You'll find it in the residences and classes, in athletics. We have really great athletic opportunities, some of which are nice because they're lower level. You don't have to play varsity. You can be sort of mediocre and still play soccer here, which is great because it's healthy and it gets you out and gets you involved with other people. So there are lots of nice opportunities. You don't have to be a superstar player for any of those to do it. And there are all kinds of other co-curricular activities. Finally, excuse me. One of the other things is academic co-curriculars, which is a category people don't often discuss. But there are many, many of those at Vic, and I think that they make us stand out in a way from a lot of other places across the country. Particularly and I know Ira is here, and I believe Angela mentioned it already too, sorry. One of them is really significant undergraduate research opportunities, which many universities don't have quite as much focus on, and really lets you get your sharpen your teeth in terms of thinking about academic things in real researchy kinds of ways, in ways where, what you're studying yourself has an impact on the world through research. We also have other really interesting programs. The registrar is coming up, so I won't steal her thunder, but the first year learning communities are also really wonderful opportunities for academic co-curricular activity. And finally, we have a program called Ideas for the World runs through my office, where students get to be mentors and listen to faculty members who are fabulous and really engaged, talk about issues that are really important, and sort of pedal to the metal research as it hits the ground and affects people in the community, from shelters, from food banks, et cetera. And students get an opportunity to mentor them and to engage in really deep conversation with people with no marks and no assignments and all of that stuff. So it's a little bit more of an academic luxuriating. And then finally, we have a program called Vic Ready, which I really wish all of you will try to find out more about. Heidi Pepper-Coles, also again in this, is sort of coordinator of all of that. She runs it all. She has it all right in the palm of her hand. And students come thinking they need to know all the answers about where they're going. Most of them don't. 70% of students who come knowing what they're going, thinking they know what they were going to do for their career, don't in fact do what they think they're going to do, because they come to university and they change their mind. And that doesn't mean that university didn't work. It means it did. It means you came and you learned and you took some new ideas and you lost some of your old ideas and you listened to some really unbelievable faculty members and peers and staff, et cetera, and you built yourself. So my biggest line is that when you come to university, you are the architect of yourself. You have lots of materials already. You have lots of tools. That's what got you here, but you will get more tools and you'll get more materials and you'll build something exciting. So welcome. We're very lucky to have you, and you're kind of lucky to have us too, because we're really awesome. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kelly. That was so great, with so much detail about our community. So our next speaker is our registrar, Renu Kanga-Fonseca, who will be speaking lots about holistic student support, academic advising, financial support, and scholarships, and a lot of things that we do in the office that I work in. So welcome, Renu.
Hi, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where around the world you're joining us from today. My name is Renu Kanga-Fonseca, as Sarah mentioned, and I'm the acting registrar here at Vic. So congratulations again on all your offers of admission to U of T, to the Faculty of Arts and Science, and of course to Victoria College. Rhonda spoke a little bit about courage just now, and with that, I also wanted to share some of the many supports that are here to help you along the way, so that you can make the most of your experiences and the opportunities ahead. The Office of the Registrar and Academic Advising offers students support and advice about course registration, academic advising, and financial matters, as well as an understanding of official policies and procedures that relate to your degree. So the academic advisors are available to meet with you either in person or virtually through appointments, as well as drop-in advising sessions that we host twice a week. We help with course, degree, and program planning that are specific to your goals and interests. So as Kelly mentioned, we really are looking to meet you, get to know you, find out more about you, and then help you along the way with your course choices, your degree planning, based on what your goals and interests are. We also offer a Quirkus page. So Quirkus, you may not have heard of just yet, but it's an online learning management tool. So it's essentially a portal that's often used by instructors for course content. And through our office and the Dean's office, we've also got Quirkus pages as well that have a great deal of information on your programs of study, or posts, as we call them, course selections, important dates, and so much more. So once you've accepted your offer, and later in May, you'll receive some more information on how to access Quarkus. And we'll also be sending you information in mid-May about e-mentors, so upper year students that we have as mentors for each of you that can also help you throughout the summer as you get ready to join us in September. That can help answer questions that you have and navigate information that we're sending throughout the summer as well. And then we also are sending information on how to get ready for course enrollment itself. That takes place in July, along with information on requirements that are needed towards your degree. You can also speak with staff in the Office of the Registrar about fees and about finances. So in addition to OSAP or other government student grant or loan programs that you may qualify for, Victoria College also has very generous scholarship and bursary programs. There are scholarships and awards based on academic performance, based on bursaries and grants for financial need, financial support for students participating in international study abroad experiences, which you may look to plan for in your upper years. We've got leadership awards and funding or supports for students that are engaged in research initiatives or conferences as well. So our website has a full list of student awards, in addition to speaking with staff in our office. And for students who demonstrate financial need, we also have a needs-based bursary, and students can apply for a VIC grant each fall through the VIC grant application. So this is all a lot of information, but as I said, we'll be sending more in timely ways for when you need that information, but just want to add those to your radar so you're aware of a number of the supports that exist. Other services to look out for in the fall, and you'll hear more about these ahead too, are our embedded learning strategist who meets with students to help develop strategies around your strengths and learning preferences in areas such as reading, note-taking, procrastination and time management, memory and concentration, and so much more, depending on what areas you're looking for support in. We also have an embedded accessibility advisor who supports students with ongoing and temporary disabilities who may benefit from academic accommodations. And we also work closely with other departments across U of T to coordinate learning support, such as the VIC Peer Tutor Program, which offers free drop-in style tutoring for first-year chemistry, math, and physics. So all that to say is that the Office of the Registrar is here to help you this summer as you get ready for first year and throughout your undergraduate degree. There really are so many services and supports available across VIC and across U of T to help you succeed and make the most of your experiences. So please keep an eye out on your inboxes as we continue to send you more information, and connect with us whenever you have questions or need some help. And we look forward to seeing you all on campus in September.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rito, talking all the amazing things we do within our office. So our next speaker is one of our students. So we're going to go into Ava, who's our fourth year student. She worked for our office this past year, so she is incredible. She is an international student from the US, and she'll talk a little bit about how she's fostered community here at VIC. Welcome, Ava.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everybody. It's really exciting to see you all here and taking this first step to engage at VIC and just be present at VIC. So congrats to all of you, and also for getting into VIC. It's really exciting, and I think you're going to have a great 4 years or more if you're lucky. Okay, so my name is Ava. I'm a fourth year student, and I am an international student. I come from Boston, so not very far and also not very different from Toronto. So I certainly can't speak to all of the experiences that international students might come up against. For example, some international students come in without English as their first language, or perhaps haven't used English in an academic setting. That's not something that I've encountered, but that's not something that I personally went through. So that's certainly different. And culturally, Toronto and Boston are pretty similar. Toronto might be a little friendlier, but it's still it's still a great, there's a lot of support for all international students. I participated in international orientation in my first year, and I think that was actually the very first international orientation. And it was a really great way to go from, I was so scared. I'd never been to Toronto. I didn't know anybody. And it was such a great way to just adjust, meet other people who were feeling the same way, meet other people who were so excited to be here like I was. And that was really supportive. Throughout the year, I had an international mentor who was also always there. There were events throughout the year. There are workshops specifically for international students, and I still get an email every month from the international, sorry, what is it? The Center for International Experience. I think that's it. Well, they email me every month of like programs and ways to connect and thinking about future permits, if that's something you're thinking about, you know, future staying in Canada in the future and all sorts of things. So really, it's not just you get here in your first year and there's international support. It's you get here in your first year and there's all the way until you graduate, there's going to be support for you. And even beyond, there are some aspects of that. So I know that it's really, especially for international students, but for everybody, it's probably a really nerve-wracking thing that you're looking at and facing, but I just want to reassure you that supports are there, and that your people are really excited to meet people who are from, especially if they've grown up in Toronto, they're really excited to talk to you about your experiences outside of Toronto and outside of Canada. So you'll be brought right in. And yeah, something else I want to talk about is community at Vic. So excuse me, I have been involved with a lot at Vic, or I should back up. So I'm a biology and political science double major, and I've been involved in a lot of different aspects at Vic and beyond. One of my favorite things I've been involved in is the Bob Comedy Review, which is the best comedy group on campus. It's, I think, the oldest comedy group in Canada, the oldest sketch comedy group in Canada. It's called the Bob Comedy Review. We do an awesome show every year. It was something I auditioned for in my first year, and I thought, there's no way I'm getting this. What a crazy thing to do. And now I've been on it for 4 years, and I've made some lifelong friends through that. I've also done Frisbee. I'd never played Frisbee before. I'm not an athletic person, so that was a great way to meet people who also maybe hadn't done Frisbee before. Some of them had, but most hadn't, and connect over this competitive sense. And it was all Vic students playing against other colleges. So it was a really cool way to kind of build up that Vic spirit and also get the chance to beat other colleges, which is the most important thing you can do. No, just kidding. Another thing that I did was I was a transition mentor. So I think it's been mentioned before that when you come, you'll have a transition mentor who's here to support you throughout your entire first year. And doing that was really rewarding because I also had a transition mentor my first year, and they were very encouraging and helpful. And I was able to bounce a lot of questions off of them and get advice. So it was really rewarding to be able to give that back to first year students and just build that community among first years and getting the chance to meet all of, I guess not you, but all of the yous last year. And it was really a blast to do that. So if you're interested in leadership, I encourage you to talk to your transition mentor about that and things like that. There's lots of, like beyond that, there are so many other ways to engage in community at Vic. And that's just been my favorite. Honestly, my favorite aspect about being at U of T has been the Vic community, because I mean, the smart and friendly thing is perfect. Like everybody, that's true. Everybody is really eager to talk to you. And a lot of times the things they want to talk to you about are just really nerdy things or things you've never even heard of or gotten the chance to learn about. So it's really, the people here are the highlight, and you're going to be supported by the Vic institution, but you're also going to be supported by the people who are participating in those activities, those programs, and so on. So I'm really excited for all of you. And I just want to wrap up by saying, like, hold on to that excitement that you're feeling. I still feel the excitement I did in the summer before my first year. Like, I feel like I'm still holding on to that a little bit. And like, I was literally, when somebody sent all the Vic 1 classes, I was looking through them and I was like, oh no, I can't, I'm graduating. Like, I can't, these are not for me. But I was like, wow, that one looks so cool. Like, I wish I could do that. So I hope you feel that feeling and you hold on to that and you do your best to pursue those really cool things that are available to you at Vic and at U of T more broadly. So yeah, it's really nice to meet you all, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Ava. It was so nice to hear about your experience and your connections here at Vic. So our next student and our last speaker will be Michael. Michael has been my amazing student for this year, so you've probably seen his content already. I want to thank him for all the work he's done here to prep for today as his final project for this year. And he is a domestic student here who's going to talk a little bit about his experience and his community connections and pathways to leadership here at Vic. Welcome, Michael.
Hello, everyone. Hello to the panel. You guys are all amazing. I'm like shaking because I'm the last person to speak. I'm like going after Rhonda and Kelly and Renu. It's like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I have the charisma for that, but I'll give it my best shot. So
You go, baby.
Thank you, Kelly. Oh my God. I've been on meetings with Kelly since the pandemic, and she knows that I like to rock back and forth when I laugh. So if you see that, it's because I'm enjoying the time we have together. But my name is Michael. I'm in my final year here at Victoria College at the University of Toronto. Some things about me that I just want to share right off the bat. So I'm studying English with a minor in creative expression and society. That's going to be one of our Vic programs. So if any of you are interested in that, please find me in the breakout room. I love to talk about the work that I've done there. I've been a commuter student. I've also lived on residence, a little bit unorthodox, but I've had both experiences under my belt. I've worked as a volunteer in my first year, and I've also worked in paid positions and work studies here at the Registrar's office, which is where I've been lucky enough to work with Renu and Sarah and everyone else that you'll see here. Ava kind of jogged a memory in my head. I think I went to a session very similar to this when I was coming into university. And honestly, I'm convinced that some of the anxiety that I'm feeling right now is because I'm remembering what it was like to be in your position many, many years ago. And I know exactly how it feels to come into university and not sure exactly what all of this is going to look like, what it's going to feel like. Everything is happening so abstractly. And you're kind of here wondering with all of these questions and waiting to find answers. I want to promise you from the bottom of my heart, we are looking to answer all of your questions as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, as effectively as possible. So the 200 of you that have joined us here today asking all of these questions, you are already placing that first stake, taking that first step in your undergraduate careers, and this is the way to start doing it. I think if I could give myself any advice coming into university, do not be afraid to ask questions. Everyone from their second year to their fourth year, from maintenance staff to the president of the university to the dean of students, they are all here to answer your questions. All of their office doors are open. Every time I would give a tour of Victoria College, I would end off with Rhonda waving to us from her window, that famous wave that she has. So I encourage you all to find the courage to explore that voice, whatever that voice may be in your first year, and to ask questions and make sure that you have the answers that you're looking forward to. Some things that I think are helpful to know, as soon as you accept your offer to the University of Toronto for Victoria College, we are open and ready to answer those questions to make sure that your transition, before your transition, starts as easily and as smoothly as possible. Sarah showed off some links that we had earlier, so that'll be our Vic.admissions, Vic College Life. There's always a real human being behind those Instagram posts. So if you DM the Instagram, they will also direct you to the right places as well. There is a lot to offer at Victoria College, and same as Ava, my favorite part of being here is the community that I've been lucky enough to experience. You really get to know everyone's name. My favorite thing to say about the University of Toronto is that you're coming to Toronto, a big metropolitan city. It's scary, it's big, it's large, but U of T has so many natural spaces. It's got its little square, so it's a little bit of an oasis, right? And yet it's still one of the biggest universities in Canada, if not North America. So that's why the college system exists. And that's why Victoria College exists. So all of you are going to be part of that oasis within the oasis. We have a collegiate feel, we have a community feel. Everyone will get to know your name and you will get to know everyone's name, and you'll have 4 years to learn all of the different names here on campus and everyone's story, everyone's life, and make some friends that will truly be life-lasting. Fingers crossed, I'm only 22, but you know, looking ahead, I'm hoping to have some people in my life a couple years down the line. In terms of pathways to leadership and making those community connections, some practical things that I did when I was coming into university, I was stalking those Instagram pages like there's no tomorrow. I was looking at applications and I was just sharing my experience. I'm a first-year student, commuting, coming from Scarborough, traveling 45 minutes, but I would love to be part of your club. I would love to get to know what's going on behind the scenes and be a part of your team. And I've been lucky enough to work at different spaces. So you might have heard of Caffeines, which is the best place to get coffee on campus, hands down. I'm not biased, I promise. It's really, really delicious. So Caffeines is a great place to volunteer. The Cat's Eye is a great place to volunteer. You can start working as a commuter don as early as your second year if you want to get involved in the dean's office. You can work in work studies like I did this year if you want to get involved in the registrar's office. So whatever kind of volunteer, professional experience, sporting experience, all of it is available to you. It's just about finding the right connections, asking the right questions, and everyone will direct you exactly where you need to go. I think the first step in doing that would be joining us in our breakout rooms today. Everyone here has been at Vic for a very long time, and we've got to know it. We've got to love it over the last few months, the last few years for some of us. So please come to the breakout rooms, ask questions, and get to know us a little bit, because some of us will be here in September ready to greet you with open arms and nice hellos and good waves from our windows. Thank you all for coming today. I think I'll pass it off to Sarah. And we'll see you shortly.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Michael. It was so great to hear about all of your amazing experiences. Thank you so much to all of our panel speakers. That was so wonderful to hear about Victoria College and letting our students know about the incredible resources we have. So if we move on to the next slide, we'll just wrap up the speaking portion. So we're going to have a little bit of a Q&A. I know there's a lot of questions in the chat right now, and amazing speakers have been answering many of them. I'm going to focus on a couple of ones just to reiterate the ones that have been asked a few times. I'm going to call on Heidi just to let students know about the orientation dates, because I know that's been asked a few times, just to recap when they need to look out for things and that type of stuff. Heidi, do you feel comfortable kind of sharing that information?
You bet I do. Can everyone hear okay? Just give me a wave. Yeah, yes, I see Michael nodding. Great. My name is Heidi Pepper-Coles. I'm the Associate Dean of Student Success. We have 3 orientation programs that students have the opportunity to engage in, depending on the type of student you are and where you're coming from. We have our first event happening for commuting students. These are students that are not going to be living on residence, and they are invited to campus on the 12th and 13th of August for the weekend. We have lots of programming geared towards the commuting student experience. We also have international student orientation, which is an opportunity for international students to come move into residence. Even if you're not a resident student, if you're living off campus, you'll still be invited to come join us for ISO on campus, stay in residence for the duration of ISO, which is taking place from August 29th through to September 1st. And then you'll be encouraged, everyone all together, to participate in orientation, which starts on the 3rd of September, runs until classes begin. And once classes begin on the Thursday, Friday, we have additional programming that takes place in the evenings. And a lot of our upper year students are involved in those programs as well. So there'll be lots of information that will be sent out to you this summer, particularly through your e-mentors, who you'll be hearing from starting May 15th. So every incoming student at Vic is assigned an upper year e-mentor. They communicate with you throughout the summer, provide you with lots of information, dates, times, helpful tips, invitations to engage in online sessions over the summer to get your questions answered, and make sure that you have everything you need before you arrive in August and early September. Looking forward to chatting with you more in the breakout rooms. Back to you, Sarah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Heidi. The next question I've been seeing about a lot.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah, can I just interrupt with one tiny thing? We have a lot of confusion for internationals. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Sorry, just an important thing in case this is my only moment to clarify. We have a lot of students who are interested in international orientation who are domestic status students. So students who are Canadian and who have registered as domestic students, but who don't live in Canada and who haven't lived in Canada. We aren't really fussed about your status. So if you'd like to participate in international orientation because you haven't lived in Canada before, just write vic.dean and we'll let you in. Very important bit. Okay, everyone's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That's so helpful to know, especially the students emailing us as well. So we'll promote that information. So the next thing I've been seeing a lot about is about Vic 1. So I'm going to call on Carol, who is our Vic 1 coordinator, just to answer a few about the timelines, the dates, administrative questions. But if Angela or Ira want to pop in, kind of talk a little bit more about how the impact of Vic 100s or the information about Vic 1, feel free to do so as well. I know a lot of students are interested and are private messaging me as well about more information. So just thought I'd give you a chance.
Sure. Thanks so much, Sarah. Hi, everybody. So yeah, just to give a kind of quick overview, I think a lot of the common questions that we've seen, there is a separate application that's required for Vic 1. That application is done online and it is due on April 30th. So that's the current deadline that you should be keeping in mind for Vic 1. We do have fabulous. Thank you, Ira. The application is in the chat. If you have any questions about Vic 1, we are doing an information session this coming Wednesday at 4:00 p.m. Toronto time. I think the registration link for that is in the chat, but I'll make sure I put it back there as well so you can see it again. If you have any questions about Vic 1, you can contact me at vic.1@utoronto.ca. I'm going to make sure I put that email address in the chat again as well. And generally speaking, if you have any questions about Vic 1, you can definitely contact me directly. For Vic 1 versus Vic 100, I saw this in the chat as well. The Vic 100 the Vic 100 courses do not require an application. So for Vic 1, you have to apply by April 30th. For Vic 100 courses, those are courses that you would just sign up for during your regular course enrollment period in the summer. And I will also put our website in the chat just to make sure that everybody has access to that as well. I just see a question now. If you're accepted to Vic 1 and receive a deferral, do you need to reapply for the next year or is your spot saved? If you decide to defer your offer to U of T, you can defer your offer to Vic 1 as well, but you would need to email us separately to say, basically, I've been admitted to Vic 1, I've been admitted to U of T, I'm deferring my U of T offer, I also want to defer my Vic 1 offer. So it is a separate process, but usually you would just need to email me again at vic.1@utoronto.ca and we would make sure that we get that sorted out for you. Sarah, are there any other questions that you think we should address just right now?
I think you covered most of the stuff, unless anyone else wants to chat about the Vic 1 experience or any of that, but I'm sure they're going to ask lots of questions in the breakout room because we're getting lots.
Sure.
I do have your email in the next slide, so they can always reach out. And I think that's the most helpful if they connect with you, because oftentimes they're very specific.
Yep, absolutely. And I saw one question as well about just when Vic 1 happens. That's a great question. Vic 1, it's part of the regular academic year. So your Vic 1 classes, like they're part of your regular course schedule in first year. You might have, an intro to English class or an intro to bio class in the morning, and then you have a Vic 1 class in the afternoon. So it does take place during the regular academic year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carol. The next thing we've been seeing a lot about is residence. So I'm just going to call on the Office of the Dean of Students to see if anyone wants to talk about just the dates and timelines when students can expect to hear back and who to reach out to for any questions.
Wanda, are you out there in the universe? Because otherwise I'm going to have to make up dates and no one likes it when I do that.
No, I'm here.
Michael's going to start bobbing back and forth at that one.
Okay, so welcome to Vic. We're so glad you chose Vic. For residents, you would have already done your March 31st deadline to be guaranteed residence. You won't hear from us until the second week of June with your residence offer. At that time, you'll be able to select your building and your meal plan and your room type, as well as pay a deposit. Around July 25th, you'll get another email asking you to pay the second deposit, which so in total is $2,000 deposit. That gets applied to your residence fees. So it's not like it just goes away into the universe. It does get applied to your residence fees. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you don't have the residence guarantee, I can't promise you anything at this point, but please reach out to me at vic.dean@utoronto.ca and I will see what I can do. Again, I'm not making any promises, but we do have like a backup list of students, because I mean, the reality is sometimes people will pay the deposit in June and then decide in July that they want to defer a year. So that kind of opens up a few spots going through. So if you don't have the residence guarantee, don't freak out, but please email me at vic.dean@utoronto.ca and we'll do our best to help you. Thanks.
Wanda, 2 more questions.
Wanda?
Is there a mandatory meal plan? And how do they get to choose their roommates?
You must have to have a mandatory meal plan. There's two types of meal plans, A and B, A being about 320 meals and B being about 360 meals. It's done by points, so it's 2 points per meal. I suggested that if you're a light breakfast person, example like coffee and a muffin, maybe not go into the dining hall and use 2 points for that, because it kind of gets a little expensive, but go over to Ned's, because Ned's has lots of little light lunch breakfasts and stuff like that. And you can even go there for lunch. For roommates, there is a profile that you will fill out on the application, and we match that profile to another student. And then Kelly needs to wave her arms so she can turn on her light. And then we match you to that roommate. But if you do have a friend that you want to live with, we're happy to put you together that way as well. Most first-year students, if not all, will be assigned to a double room. There are special circumstances where we are able to assign you to a single room. Again, it's not guaranteed. You are guaranteed a space in residence, not always the room type that you want. We only have so many single rooms and so many double rooms. And we have some triple rooms too. So if you have 3 of you that want to live together, let me know. I know there's a lot of questions about Vic 1 being assigned to Lower Burwash. We do like to have the Vic 1 community spread out through all of our residences. So don't feel that if you don't get assigned to Lower Burwash because, you know, that's where you want to be, your roommate will be another Vic 1 student, not the same stream. We kind of don't like to put the same stream together because you're going to get bored of each other. Yeah, any other questions?
Amazing. I'm sure there's more in the chat, but I'll give them a chance to ask those in the breakout rooms, since we're almost at time for just speaking portion and breakout room portions coming up. The last thing I'm going to touch on is I know a lot of students here are worried about academics. So I'm going to actually call on Tom, who's our manager, student success, just to talk a little bit about the support we have in the summer for academic advising and academic support, and to help you ease a little bit into the transition. Tom?
Thank you so much, Sarah, and welcome everyone. It's been so cool seeing all these questions, and I can't type fast enough to get to them, so I'm glad I get to open my mouth. Let me just echo a couple of words that have come up. Holistic, which Kelly mentioned, which I've got to emphasize, as she said, that all of us who meet and support students are there to try to think of you as the whole student. And we certainly talk a lot about holistic advising in the office I share with Renu. And that means that you come to us to get some help with being a student. That could be simple questions about courses and programs and dealing with the rules and regs and the dates and deadlines here at the University of Toronto and the Faculty of Arts and Science. Or could it be about making decisions, having tough decisions to make, or even if your student life has been impacted by circumstances you didn't expect and you're trying to figure out how to deal with that and you want to know your options. But remember, all of us who support students are here to direct you in the right direction with any kinds of questions. But our office is especially dedicated to the academic advising and trying to help you through that decision-making to get from one end of your degree to another. In our office, we have staff that deal with academic advising and specialties, ranging from any complex cases you're dealing with, if you need accommodations, to students who are looking to make sure they're on the track to graduation, to students who need financial aid advising, and for students who are thinking about what they want to do with their graduation after they leave, especially if they're thinking of going on to future education like grad schools or professional schools like med school. And all these things are, again, in concert with a Vic community here to serve you. Speaking of that community and that combination, the program we have coming up this summer, which includes Open Vic and a session there to talk about course planning and course programs and how you sort of plan your enrollment. We've got online options going on through the summer, and will be woven in with the e-mentorship meetings and such being put on by the Student Life. You'll be hearing from your e-mentor shortly, and we'll be joining in on some of those online sessions to answer your questions and get you the help you need. So you'll be seeing a lot of us all all through the year. And coming into the fall, of course, we'll be there to help you with all the last minute stuff as you're getting ready for classes, and we're here all year round. We call ourselves a registrar's office, but not many people know what a registrar is. So remember, our full name is the Office of the Registrar and Academic Advising. And keep thinking about those last two words a lot so you know what we're doing here, because registrar is a very funny and old-fashioned name, but really we're here to help you whatever your need.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tom. All right, that pretty much wraps up our main portion. We're going to jump into breakout rooms now. So if you look at the next slide, it will be just a couple of our emails so you can get in touch. I know many folks have already put these in the chat, so don't worry, you'll have them. I email you throughout the whole summer, so you're going to get a lot of information. I know this seems like a lot in one shot, but this is going to come in more of a timely manner throughout the summer when you need to worry about these things. So keep an eye out on your inbox. Make sure you check your spam mails. Things might go into there, but we'll be continuing to communicate throughout the summer. For now, I'm going to open all breakout rooms. They will be open for you to be able to move around them. So if you want to talk to a specific person or a speaker that you love, they are in the breakout rooms and you'll be able to get a chance to ask them questions. If you have any administrative questions, I will stay in the main room, so you can always come back and ask me. But enjoy, everyone. It was so lovely to have you here this morning. I will share the recording, so don't worry. I'm going to put it up on our YouTube page and then share the link. The same way you got the email this morning from me, you'll get the link through there. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you, everyone. Welcome to Vic.